Following the mid-13th century civil wars, the Mongol Empire splintered into four separate khanates. Among these, the Chagatai Khanate is perhaps the least documented. Surrounded by the Golden Horde, the Ilkhanate, and the Yuan dynasty, their only viable path of expansion led southward into the Indian subcontinent, which was under the control of the Delhi Sultanate. This video will explore the Mongol invasions of India. The Delhi Sultanate had emerged from the Ghurid Empire, which stretched from Afghanistan to Bengal. When Muhammad of Ghor died in 1206, his former slaves and generals divided the empire, with Shams-ud-Din Iltutmish taking control of its Indian territories and establishing a long-lasting rule in Delhi. Over the next 3 centuries, 5 different Turkic and Afghan dynasties would control the Sultanate, with their foreign policy toward the north becoming increasingly shaped by the looming Mongol presence. Initial contact between the Delhi Sultanate and the Mongols occurred in the 1220s, when Chinggis Khan appeared on their doorstep while pursuing Jalal ad-Din Mingburnu, the last Khwarezmian prince. Though Chinggis Khan considered an invasion of India, he ultimately decided against entering unfamiliar territory while his campaigns continued in Iran, Central Asia, and China. He turned his attention east and died in 1227 during a campaign against the Tanguts. Iltutmish was an adept ruler, ensuring that the Delhi Sultanate became a dominant force in northern India. However, in the years following, Mongol incursions into the Sultanate's borders became more frequent, with raids into Punjab and Sindh starting in the 1230s and 40s. Seeking to prevent a full-scale Mongol invasion, the Delhi Sultans opted for diplomacy and tribute. By 1241, Lahore had fallen to a Mongol force led by Bahadur Taya, and Multan followed in 1245. By the 1250s, much of Punjab was under Mongol influence. The weak rule of Sultan Mahmud Shah led to his vizier Balban rising to prominence. Balban adopted a more aggressive stance toward the Mongols, retaking Multan and Lahore. He fortified India's mountain passes, establishing military outposts staffed by Afghan soldiers. Balban also welcomed Central Asian, Persian, and Mongol refugees fleeing the ongoing Mongol civil wars, integrating their knowledge of Mongol military tactics into the Sultanate's defense strategy. As Mongol raids on India continued, a shift in their origin took place. In the 1260s, civil wars erupted between the Golden Horde and the Ilkhanate, with many soldiers from the Yochid faction fleeing to southern Afghanistan under the leadership of Neguda. These forces, known as the Neguderis, launched frequent raids into Punjab from their new base, backed by Ilkhan and Chagatai princes who sought to control them. Balban's reign strengthened the Delhi Sultanate's northern front, but tragedy struck when his son and chosen heir, Muhammad Shah, was killed by the Mongols during an attack on Multan in 1285. Balban died in 1287, leaving the throne to his inexperienced grandson, Kaykubai. In the northern regions of the Mongol Empire, a significant political shift was taking place. Kaidu, the grandson of Ogedai Khan, consolidated power and became a sworn enemy of Kublai Khan. In 1282, he appointed Dua, a descendant of Chagatai, as Khan of Central Asia. Together, Kaidu and Dua controlled a significant part of Central Asia, and under Dua's leadership, the Negudri forces became more aggressive in their raids into India. In 1290, the Khalji dynasty came to power after Kayqubad was assassinated, and Jalal al-Din Khalji took the throne. Though he was elderly, Jalal al-Din was an experienced general who had served under Balban, and his reign was marked by both military prowess and clemency. In 1292, he successfully repelled a Mongol incursion at Bahram. However, Jalal al-Din's lenient rule proved to be his downfall when his ambitious nephew, Ala al-Din Khalji, assassinated him in 1296 and seized power. Ala al-Din was both shrewd and ruthless, qualities that served him well when he faced another major Mongol incursion into Multan, Sindh, and Lahore shortly after taking the throne. His generals, Ulugh Khan and Zafar Khan, gathered a large army and managed to defeat the Mongols at Jaran Manjur. Ala al-Din Khalji introduced several reforms designed to strengthen his control and prepare for future Mongol attacks. He instituted cash payments for his soldiers, eliminating the Sultanate's reliance on local emirs for military support. He also enacted stringent economic policies, taxing agriculture at 50% and regulating prices to reduce the cost of maintaining his army. His administration was supported by an extensive spy network and the loyalty of Malik Kafur, a eunuch who played a key role in consolidating Ala al-Din's power. Although the Mongol Khanates remained divided, especially with Kaidu continuing to challenge Kublai Khan's rule, the Chagatai Mongols shifted their focus to India. The subcontinent's riches remained a tantalizing target, and it offered the Chagatai Khanate an opportunity for expansion. While many Mongol incursions into India were raids for wealth, the most serious threats to the Delhi Sultanate came during Dua's reign. In 1298, another major Mongol force launched an invasion, but Delhi's defenders, led by Zafar Khan, successfully repelled the invaders while the Sultan's main army campaigned in Gujarat. In 1299, Dua sent his sons, Kutlug Khwaja and Timur Buka, at the head of a large Mongol force numbering between 50,000 and 60,000. This was no mere raid, it was a full-scale invasion aimed at conquering Delhi. Kutlug Khwaja's forces moved swiftly, bypassing smaller settlements to hasten their approach to the capital. At the river Jumna, Zafar Khan confronted the Mongols but was outmatched and forced to retreat. Fear gripped Delhi as the news spread, and many fled the city. Despite the overwhelming Mongol forces, Ala al-Din decided to stand his ground rather than abandon the capital. He hastily assembled his army and faced Kutlug Khwaja at the Battle of Kili. Estimates of the Delhi army's size vary, with some suggesting 300,000 soldiers and 2,700 war elephants, but modern figures suggest a more modest force of 70,000 troops and 700 elephants. At Kili, Zafar Khan led a daring charge that shattered the Mongol left wing. However, in his overzealous pursuit, he was lured into a trap. Surrounded by the Mongols, Zafar Khan fought fiercely but was eventually captured. Despite an offer of a high-ranking position in the Mongol army, Zafar Khan refused and was executed along with his men and their elephants. Although victorious, the Mongols abruptly withdrew after Kutlug Khwaja was severely injured during the battle, eventually succumbing to his wounds. His death temporarily halted Mongol ambitions in India. Mongol invasions continued annually from 1304 to 1308, but by then the Sultanate had become adept at defending itself. Many Mongol commanders met grisly ends, often executed or trampled by elephants, their skulls displayed as a warning outside Delhi. So why did the Mongols ultimately fail to conquer India? A combination of factors played a role. The Sultanate's growing familiarity with Mongol tactics, aided by defectors and experience in battle, as well as India's harsh climate, which took a heavy toll on Mongol forces and their horses. Additionally, Ala al-Din and his generals proved more than capable of withstanding Mongol threats, though Indian chroniclers often attributed their successes to divine intervention. With the death of Kaidu in 1303, Dua sought to broker peace between the Mongol Khanates, even proposing a united invasion of India. However, Dua's own death in 1306, along with internal strife within the Chagatai Khanate, prevented these plans from materializing. The last significant Mongol incursion into India occurred in 1328 to 1329, led by Dua's son Tamashirin, but it met a similar fate. Tamashirin's brief reign from 1331 to 1334 ended in chaos, and with the disintegration of the Ilkhanate, Central Asia fell into disorder, paving the way for new leaders like Timur to emerge.